Here's what nobody tells you about men. You can say I love you 1,000 times. You can text it. You can whisper it in his ear at night. You can even put it in a card with a heart drawn on it, and he'll smile. He'll say it back, but deep down, there are 12 things that will make him feel more loved than those 3 words ever could. And if you understand these 12 things, you won't just have his attention. You'll have his heart, you'll have his loyalty, you'll have the version of him that other women only dream about. So stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you will change everything you think you know about how men experience love. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was coaching a woman named Sarah. She came to me frustrated. She said, Matthew, I tell him I love him every single day. I write him notes. I buy him gifts, and he just seems disconnected. He's polite, he says thank you, but I don't feel like he's actually receiving my love. And I asked her one question. I said, Sarah, when was the last time you made him feel like a priority? Not with words, with your actions, with your time, with your presence. She went quiet. She said, I don't know. I'm always so busy. And that's when it clicked for her. She was saying, I love you, but she wasn't speaking his language. See, men don't just hear love, they feel it. And what they feel isn't always what you say. It's what you do. It's how you make them feel in the moments when nobody's watching. So let's break this down. Let's talk about the 12 things men appreciate more than hearing I love you. Number 1, respect. And I know you've heard this before, but let me explain what respect actually means to a man. It's not about worshiping him. It's not about putting him on a pedestal. It's about valuing his opinions. It's about speaking to him like he matters, especially in front of other people. Let me give you an example. You're at a dinner party with friends. He's telling a story, and maybe he gets a detail wrong. Maybe he says the restaurant was on 5th Avenue when it was actually on 6th. You have 2 choices. You can interrupt him and say, no honey, it was 6th Avenue, remember? Or you can let him finish the story. You can let him have his moment. You can correct him later if it even matters. That second option, that's respect. Because what you're saying to him in that moment is, I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm not here to make myself look smarter. I'm on your team. And when a man feels that from you, when he feels like you're genuinely on his side, he will move mountains for you. Here's the thing. Men are conditioned from a young age to earn respect. From their fathers, from their coaches, from their bosses, and when they come home, when they're with you, they want to feel like they've earned your respect too, not because they're perfect, but because you see their effort. You see them trying and you acknowledge it. You don't tear them down for what they didn't do. You build them up for what they did do. That's the difference between a woman who says I love you and a woman who makes a man feel loved. Number 2, trust, and I mean real trust. Not the kind of trust where you say, I trust you, but then you're checking his phone. You're asking him where he was. You're interrogating him about who he was with. That's not trust. That's surveillance. Real trust is when you give him space, when you let him have a life outside of you, when you don't panic every time he doesn't text you back within 5 minutes. Let me tell you why this matters so much. Men value their freedom, not because they want to cheat, not because they don't care about you, but because they need to feel like they're choosing you, not trapped by you. When you trust him, when you give him that space, he doesn't feel suffocated. He feels free, and a man who feels free will always come back to you because he wants to, not because he has to. I remember working with a guy named David. He told me his girlfriend used to call him every hour when he was out with his friends. She'd say, I just want to make sure you're okay. But what she was really saying was, I don't trust you. I'm scared you're doing something behind my back. And eventually he broke up with her, not because he didn't love her, but because he felt like he was living in a cage. Now compare that to the woman he's with now. She says, have fun tonight. Tell the guys I said hi. Text me when you're home safe. That's it. No interrogation, no guilt trip. And you know what he told me. He said, Matthew, I've never felt more committed to someone in my life because she trusts me, and that trust makes me want to be the man she believes I am. That's the power of trust. Number 3, support, but not the kind of support where you just say you can do it. I'm talking about the kind of support where you actually show up, where you believe in him even when he doesn't believe in himself. Let me paint you a picture. He's thinking about starting a business, or going back to school, or making a career change, and he's scared. He's doubting himself. He says, I don't know if I can do this. What if I fail? You have 2 options. Option 1, you say, well, yeah, it is risky. Maybe you should just stay where you are. Option 2, you say, I believe in you. I've seen what you're capable of, and even if it doesn't work out the way you hope, I'll be right here with you. Which woman do you think he's going to remember for the rest of his life? Men don't just want a cheerleader, they want a partner, someone who's willing to get in the trenches with them, someone who's willing to sacrifice alongside them. I'll give you a real example. I knew a couple where the guy wanted to go back to school for his MBA. It meant 2 years of less income, 2 years of stress, 2 years of uncertainty. His girlfriend at the time said, I'll pick up extra shifts. We'll make it work, and she did. She worked weekends, she cut back on her own spending. She never once made him feel guilty about it, and when he graduated, when he landed his dream job, he proposed to her. Because she didn't just say, I love you, she showed him, she invested in his future, and he knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with someone like that. Number 4, affection without agenda, and this is a big one. Men love physical affection, but not just when you want something, not just when it leads to sex, not just when you're trying to make up after a fight. I'm talking about the random moments when you walk past him in the kitchen and you touch his shoulder. When you're sitting on the couch and you rest your head on his chest for no reason. When you kiss him goodbye in the morning like you actually mean it. Let me tell you why this matters. Men are starved for affection. And I don't just mean sexually. I mean emotionally. Most men don't get hugs from their friends. They don't get compliments. They don't get touched in a loving way by anyone except you. So when you give him that affection, when you make him feel desired, when you make him feel wanted, not because you need something, but just because you care, it fills a hole in him that he didn't even know was there. I coached a woman who told me she started giving her husband a hug every single day when he came home from work. That's it, just a hug for 10 seconds, no talking, no checking her phone, just a hug. She said, Matthew, I thought it was such a small thing, but after a month he told me it was his favorite part of the day. He said, coming home to you is the only time I feel like I can breathe. That's the power of affection without agenda. It tells him, I'm not touching you because I want something. I'm touching you because I love you, and that distinction means everything to a man. Number 5, appreciation, and I'm not talking about thank you for taking out the trash. I'm talking about acknowledging the things he does that nobody else notices, the things he doesn't even realize he's doing. Let me give you some examples. He works long hours so you can have the life you want. He listens to you talk about your day even when he's exhausted. He fixes things around the house. He drives you places. He makes you laugh when you're stressed. He shows up for you in 100 small ways every single week. And most of the time you don't say anything because you think it's just what he's supposed to do. But here's the truth. Nobody has to do anything. He's choosing to do these things, and when you acknowledge that, when you look him in the eye and say, I see how hard you work. I see how much you do for me. I don't take it for granted. You are literally giving him fuel. You're giving him a reason to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep being the man you need him to be. I'll never forget a conversation I had with a guy named Alex. He told me his wife left him a note one morning. It said, thank you for being someone I can count on. Thank you for always making me feel safe. I know life is hard right now, but I want you to know I see you. I see everything you do, and I'm so grateful. He said, Matthew, I cried reading that note because nobody had ever said that to me before. Not my parents, not my friends, nobody. And in that moment, I realized I would do anything for her because she made me feel like I mattered. That's appreciation, and it's more powerful than I love you will ever be. Number 6, loyalty. And I don't just mean you're not cheating on him. I mean you're loyal to him in every sense of the word. You defend him when he's not around. You don't talk badly about him to your friends. You don't compare him to other men. You don't throw him under the bus to make yourself look good. Let me explain why this is so critical. Men are terrified of betrayal, not just romantic betrayal, emotional betrayal, social betrayal. They're terrified that the woman they love is going to turn on them, that she's going to make them the villain in her story, that she's going to share their private struggles with people who have no business knowing. So when you show him loyalty, when you prove to him that his secrets are safe with you, that his vulnerabilities won't be weaponized against him, he will trust you in a way he's never trusted anyone. Here's a real-world example. You're out with your girlfriends. They start complaining about their husbands, about how lazy they are, about how they never help around the house, about how they're not romantic anymore. And they look at you and say, what about your guy? Does he do anything? You have two choices. You can join in. You can say, oh yeah, mine's the same. You can bond with them over shared frustration. Or you can say, actually, he's been really great lately. He's been working hard, he's been trying, and I appreciate him, which response shows loyalty. The second one, because you're not throwing him under the bus for a cheap laugh, you're protecting his reputation. You're honoring him even when he's not there. And if he ever finds out you did that, and trust me, he will love you for it in a way that words can't describe. Number 7, peace. Men crave peace. They crave a relationship that feels like a safe haven, not a battlefield, not a courtroom, not a place where they're constantly being criticized or corrected or told what they're doing wrong. Let me be very clear. I'm not saying you can't have boundaries. I'm not saying you can't speak up when something bothers you, but there's a difference between addressing an issue and creating constant drama. There's a difference between saying, hey, can we talk about this, and turning everything into a fight. Men will stay in relationships that aren't perfect. They'll stay with women who aren't the most beautiful or the most successful or the most anything, but they won't stay in relationships that feel like chaos. They won't stay where they feel like they're always walking on eggshells, where they're always waiting for the next explosion. I coached a guy named Marcus who told me his ex-girlfriend used to pick fights over everything. He'd come home from work and she'd say, why didn't you text me at lunch? Why did you like that girl's photo on Instagram? Why do you always choose your friends over me? He said, Matthew, I loved her, but I couldn't breathe. Every day felt like a test I was failing, and eventually I just gave up. Now he's with someone new, someone who doesn't sweat the small stuff, someone who creates a calm environment, and he told me I've never been happier. Because I finally feel like I can relax. That's what peace does for a man. It makes him want to come home. It makes him want to stay. Number 8, acceptance. And this is the big one. Men want to feel accepted for who they are, not who you're trying to turn them into, not the Instagram version, not the version your mom would approve of, the real version, the messy version, the version that has flaws and quirks and insecurities. Let me tell you something. Every man is walking around with a voice in his head that says you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not successful enough, you're not man enough. And when he's with you, he's terrified that you're going to confirm that voice, that you're going to look at him and say, yeah, you're right, you're not enough. But when you accept him, when you look at him and say, I see your flaws and I'm still here, I see your mistakes and I still choose you. You are silencing that voice, you are giving him permission to be human, and that is the greatest gift you can give a man. I remember talking to a woman who told me her boyfriend struggled with anxiety. He had panic attacks. He'd sometimes cancel plans last minute because he couldn't handle it. And she said, Matthew, I could have made him feel bad about it. I could have said, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just push through it? But instead I said, I'm here. You don't have to apologize. We'll figure this out together. And she said the look on his face, the relief. He told me later that was the moment he knew he wanted to marry me. Because I didn't try to fix him. I didn't try to change him. I just accepted him. That's what acceptance does. It heals. Number 9, space. And I know this sounds counterintuitive. You're probably thinking, wait, I thought I'm supposed to show him I love him. How does giving him space show love? But hear me out. Men need time to recharge. They need time to be alone, to think, to process, to do nothing. And when you give him that space, when you don't make him feel guilty for needing it, you're showing him that you understand him, that you respect his needs, that you're not going to smother him. Let me give you a scenario. It's been a long week. He comes home Friday night and says, I think I'm just going to play video games for a few hours. I need to decompress. You can respond in 2 ways. Way 1, you get upset. You say we never spend time together anymore. You always choose your games over me. Way 2, you say, okay, babe, enjoy. I'll be here if you need me. Which response makes him feel loved? Here's the thing. When you give him space, he doesn't pull away. He comes back to you refreshed. He comes back to you grateful. He comes back to you more present. Because he got what he needed, and he didn't have to fight for it. I've seen this play out so many times. The women who cling the hardest are the ones who lose their men. The women who give space are the ones who keep them. Because men don't want to feel owned. They want to feel free. And when they feel free with you, they choose you every single time. Number 10, encouragement, and not just when things are going well. I'm talking about when things are falling apart. When he's failing, when he's struggling, when he's questioning everything, that's when he needs you most. Let me tell you about a guy I know named Ryan. He got laid off from his job, and for months he couldn't find work. He was depressed, he was ashamed, he felt like a failure, and his girlfriend at the time said to him every single day, you are not your job. You are so much more than that. This is temporary. We're going to get through this. And I believe in you. She never wavered. She never made him feel like less of a man. And when he finally got back on his feet, when he landed an even better job, he said to me, she saved me, not financially. Emotionally, she kept me going when I wanted to give up. That's encouragement. That's love in action. Men are under so much pressure to provide, to perform, to be strong. And when they inevitably fall short, when they inevitably stumble, they need someone in their corner who says, I still believe in you. Get back up. I'm right here. That's the woman he'll never forget. That's the woman he'll never leave, because she didn't just love him when it was easy. She loved him when it was hard. Number 11, fun. Men want to have fun with you. They want to laugh with you. They want to feel light with you. They don't want every conversation to be heavy. They don't want every date to be serious. They want to feel like you're someone they can enjoy life with. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you laughed with your man? Not a polite chuckle, a real laugh. When was the last time you did something spontaneous? When was the last time you said, let's just go for a drive? Let's get ice cream at midnight. Let's dance in the kitchen. These moments matter because men don't just want a partner, they want a playmate. They want someone who reminds them that life doesn't have to be so serious all the time. I coached a couple who told me their relationship was feeling stale. They'd been together 5 years and they said we love each other but we're bored, so I gave them homework. I said I want you to do one fun thing together every week, something you've never done before. Go to a trampoline park, take a cooking class, go mini golfing. I don't care what it is, just have fun. They came back a month later and they said, Matthew, it's like we're dating again, we're laughing again, we're connecting again. That's what fun does. It brings you back to each other. It reminds you why you fell in love in the first place. Number 12, intimacy. And I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, spiritual intimacy. I'm talking about the moments when you look into his eyes and really see him, when you hold his hand and really feel him, when you listen to him talk about his dreams and you really hear him. Men are starving for intimacy, real intimacy, the kind where they can take off their armor, the kind where they don't have to pretend to have it all together, the kind where they can be vulnerable without being judged. And if you can create that space for him, if you can make him feel like he's safe to be his full self with you, he will never want to leave. Let me tell you something I've learned after years of coaching thousands of people. Men don't leave women they feel connected to. They leave women they feel distant from. They leave when they feel like they're just going through the motions, when they feel like they're roommates instead of lovers, when they feel like they're alone even when they're together. So if you want to keep him, if you want him to choose you every single day, create intimacy, ask him deep questions, tell him your fears. Share your dreams, be present, put your phone down, look at him, touch him, let him know that you're not just in this relationship. You're in it with him. Here's what I want you to understand. Saying I love you is easy. It takes 3 seconds, but doing these 12 things, showing him respect, trusting him, supporting him, giving him affection, appreciating him, being loyal, creating peace, accepting him, giving him space, encouraging him, having fun with him, creating intimacy, that takes effort, that takes intention, that takes consistency, and that's exactly why it means so much more, because anyone can say words, but not everyone can make you feel loved. So I want to challenge you. Pick 3 of these 12 things. Just 3. And start doing them intentionally this week. Don't announce it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just do it and watch what happens. Watch how he responds. Watch how he softens. Watch how he starts showing up for you in ways he never has before. Because here's the secret. When you make a man feel truly loved, not with words but with actions, he will move heaven and earth to make you happy. He will protect you. He will prioritize you. He will cherish you. Not because you demanded it, but because you inspired it, and that's the relationship you deserve. Not one where you're constantly wondering if he loves you, but one where you feel it every single day. In 1,000 small ways, in the way he looks at you, in the way he shows up for you, in the way he chooses you, over and over again. That's what happens when you speak his language. That's what happens when you understand what men really need. That's what happens when you stop just saying, I love you, and you start showing it in the ways that actually matter. So go out there and be that woman. Be the woman who doesn't just say the words. Be the woman who lives them. Be the woman who changes everything, because you have that power. You've always had it. You just needed someone to remind you.